All right. 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 Oh, cool. We had a signer bonus today, which is pretty frequently common. What is up, guys? Red Verse here, man. We're back. We're making a video today strictly about Triple Threat offline. I do make a few videos of Triple Threat online. It's just some gameplay pretty much. But today this video is about how you're gonna win basically Triple Threat offline. And I know a lot of people may struggle. I fear not as much. Like I had already made a video earlier in the year before they updated or patched the game. Now with these patches they've dropped, it's a little bit easier to me anyway. I don't know if it may have been harder for anyone else to win, but it's a lot easier for me to win. So here I offer some team setups to really just help you win. Um, it's not just team, but actual gameplay, and we're gonna get into the game, and then just methods I would say in just general. But it's more so the team composition is gonna really affect it rather than the actual in-game strat. So first, this is an all center, pretty much an all center team. And the reason I kind of came around this team, well, the reason I specifically had these players is because these two need rebounds. Rick, Mahorn, and Truck Robinson, they both need rebound requirements for the XP tower deal or the what's it called now? Um, Next is now or something like that. Whatever the season thing is, where you grind for XP. And then we have Gilmore, right? So with Gilmore's an Evo card you get from completing all-time domination. For completing, I can't remember if he was the West or East all-time domination. You complete that, you get him, and you also get Nate Archibald. And so we already finished. We actually just finished Nate. Um, and I have no money right now because I just bought Donovan Mitchell. We just finished Nate the other day, so Nate's done. And the reason we're using Gilmore specifically for this as our scoring, he's gonna be our scorer here. Our primary scorer is because, well, one, you this is what you want to always do. You want to have a player, and like I say, if this is I'm gonna give you guys another team layout in a second. But for now, we're just running. This is an all center team, and I'm gonna show you how this works really easily for you. Um, but like I said, you want to have one primary scorer, and our primary scorer is going to be Gilmore. Also, I mean, as I get into it, I'll elaborate. Guys like Rick Mahorn, he can probably score as well. If you're not like I said, I'm strictly sticking with Gilmore because Gilmore is I'm evoing him, so that's I want him to have all of my points. But for the other, like if you're just using a really good center, like who's a good example? Like Bill Russell, well, probably not Bill Russell, but Alonzo Mourning? Let's say Alonzo Mourning, somebody like him. You can eventually or occasionally score with the other guys, but my primary focus is let Gilmore get all the points. So, like I said, let's run to a game. And note here, you want to make sure too that your other centers are like your primary scorer. Like I said, it can be as high as you want, pink diamond, diamond, or if you may not even have cards that high, and amethyst works as well. And then you want to have your other two centers be around sapphire or lower, right? So the best matchup Robinson will have will be a ruby. So if his bit like the hardest matchup he will have is a ruby, and the lowest matchup he will have is an emerald. And then Mahorn, his best matchup would always be like a sapphire, and his lowest matchup would usually be golds, right? Um, and for Gilmore, he never really gets pink diamond matchup, so he's normally either a diamond hit or a amethyst. It's his normal matchups. So let's jump into it and let's see what we get. So depending on what we get, can affect a lot of things here for us. But either way, I'm gonna break down like everything you do, even if you get depending on like what you get matched up against. So let's see what we get here. Okay, so Big Z. Okay, right. Okay, good. This is a pretty solid example. So first and foremost, notice how their whole team isn't all centers or power forwards. We have Shea. That is super common. It is actually super rare for me to get a team that had the team I go against to have all centers, so it's pretty rare. So you're gonna always get a shooting guard, point guard, small forward in that mix, right? And our team's all centers, so keep that in mind. So I'm gonna show you what you do here. So basically, you're almost guaranteed to get points. So now that we have Shea, so even if we didn't get Shea, right? Even Shea's the mismatch here. Shay's our mismatch for arenas. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna get that mismatch. But Shay's our mismatch here. And even if Shay was a center, that would have been perfectly fine too, because Shay would have been like I said. Wait, is this a diamond Shay? That's actually the diamond Shay. I think so. No. That was the regular Shay. I think. Um, Even if Shay was like a center, he would be like emerald or gold. He would be a really low tier center. So it wouldn't Gilmore. It would still be a mismatch for Gilmore. So here we just kind of got almost a natural. Oh, never mind. I didn't play out the way I want. But look, since we have two centers, they switch every time. Um, that's essentially overall the strat here. Screen and I know it's not hard at all. I got it on the first try. It's not like I had to do it multiple times or anything. And the reason it worked on it's gonna work almost every time on the first try is because I have two centers. So your team, I mean the opposing defenders, not going they're gonna switch every time. They don't care about switching or not because it's two centers. So we're gonna have to switch. It doesn't matter if we switch or not. I'm gonna either way. Shay's gonna have to guard a center no matter how it goes. But not realizing Gilmore is actually the more dominant center, bigger center, more interior center. So he's actually has a bigger advantage in the post, and he's a better post player than any of these other centers on the field. So his matchup against Shea is actually way worse than if I left Robinson. Uh, if I posted up Shea with Robinson. But anyways, this will work almost every time just because we have two centers. And then again, Robinson is a type of, and then here you can just, if you want, off ball the whole time. And like I said, the other guys are here for strictly for rebounds because that's all they're gonna do is get rebounds the whole time. So that's what makes this also like even a better strategy and stuff. Like I said, once again, and then you want to do a step back here. The reason for the step back is to definitely get them to switch for sure. And then, like I said, it's an easy post up from there on Shea, and I can just do this every single time down the court. Now, another reason, fact I want to point out is make sure that you have, like I said, you don't want a whole team of diamond centers because there will never really be a mismatch in there. Like it's just gonna be less likely. So you want to make sure. So even if the opposing team is full of centers, you want to make sure there's gonna be a mismatch somewhere. And even if everyone's the same position, we want to at least have like a different overall level mismatch, right? So that's what we're kind of shooting for there. So that's why we have lower tier cars like Robinson, and we could have picked like I have Gilmore, I have Bill Russell. I could have picked those guys in as well, but it would have not been as I would have been getting tough matchups. So this way you get pretty easy matchups. Even Dirk's a mismatch here. If I switch with Dirk, Dirk's a mismatch for Gilmer. And to prove that, actually, let me see. Actually, Dirk's on him right now, so don't even need to do nothing right now. So just show that everyone but oh wait, I blew on the release, but Dirk is a mismatch. Believe it or not. Can we get Dirk again, just to prove that? Like I said, step back. I do the step back just to, and you kind of want a center that won't pick the ball up every time or fumble the ball on a step back. So Robinson, I don't know. I got looked up. And you should probably aim to have a power forward slash center because power forwards can handle the ball a little bit better. And Robinson, when he does that, Truck Robinson, when he does the step back, he doesn't fumble the ball or whatever. He does the step back pretty naturally, and he can pass right out of that step back. So it doesn't give me any trouble. But I just want to point that out that if you do have like a super big like Yao Ming and guys like that, their step backs are gonna like make them struggle. So like I said, Dirk's a mismatch. Big Z probably isn't a mismatch, but the better the center is at shooting, the worse they are at defending interior. For example, guys like Jokic, and guys like Karl Anthony Towns, they suck on interior defense. But guys like Shaq, you cannot post up a Shaq card. You cannot post up a Shaq. Now, This is the primary method if you get a lineup like I did now. Sometimes another advantage to having lower tier cars like Robinson and Mahorn on my team is sometimes the mismatch is just automatically goes to Gilmore. So a lot of times Gilmore might get matched up against like a gold Robin Lopez. That's a mismatch every time. I don't even have to do this method of screening and stepping back. I can just go to my mismatch every time. So a lot of times you don't necessarily. And let me see. I might go see if I can go at Big Z one of these times and see if I can score on Big Z without like Big Z is kind of a shooter, so I don't know how good his interior defense is. Yeah, I probably shouldn't give him that shot, but it is what it is. All right, so let's see if we can just kind of go right at Big Z. So say he wasn't really a good center, right? He's a diamond center, so his defense is pretty solid. But let's just say it's not, and let's just go right at him, and that's what we would like pretty much do every time if we had a mismatch there. He's like I said, he's not a mismatch at all. This game, so we're definitely doing a method of screening and step backing to get the switches we're looking for. Now, the reason we're doing with all centers, if I didn't point this out earlier, is if you did this with a point guard, they're less likely to switch, and you're less likely to get that switch. So here, the switch came naturally, right? So Z just hops straight up on the ball handler, and the switch just happened naturally, and then we just get this big mismatch with Shea. And obviously, Robinson could also probably he could probably himself back down Shea, but like I said, we're focusing our points on Robinson here. So another thing you could do here is just straight up start like force a mismatch just by posting up on someone that's not your defender, and usually they just kind of switch up. That's another kind of small thing you can do without necessarily some yeah, you gotta kind of look for ways to like get mismatches without always having to do that screen, because the screen setting up that screen takes the longest amount of time. So that's the long like if you do that every single possession, your game's gonna be like 7-8 minutes long. If you can get switches naturally by playing good defense, a lot of times you get defensive stops, and like here we got to stop. Sometimes mismatches just to kind of occur from getting these stops. We didn't get one this time, but it's all right. So look how, and a lot of times too, he's not doing it this game, but Gilmore will sometimes just cut straight to the basket and get an open lane. He hasn't been doing it here. Um, but note that too, you don't even always have to back down. Sometimes once you call that screen, Gilmore will get an open. Your big center would sometimes just get an open lane. I'm trying to see if I can get a lucky one of those this time around. But here, like I said, and also you kind of got to play defense pretty well too, because if you don't get stops, they're just gonna kind of yep. Waiting for Big Z to clear out. We finished backing down Shea. Like I said, there's no 3 seconds on here, so you can just sit in the paint as long as you need. Um, it's just super straightforward. Not we don't have to work for a bucket. We're just simply backing down and posting up. So, and everyone on my team needs rebounds. Look at the mismatch. It came naturally here. Um, I could do a spin off of him, but sometimes that's risky because they can sometimes strip the ball. This is the most safest bet. Is just to bag them down and do a drop step off of them. Just basically the safest method of scoring there. And if you don't know how to do a drop step, just go to. I feel like I don't want to have to like explain it verbally because it's kind of harder to do it that way. But or is it what is it? What is it? Step through? Wait, I'm looking at shooting. Where's post offense? Oh, here it is. Drop step. So just gotta go to drop step, and that's exactly what I'm just doing here. If you don't know how to do it, and just try to practice it, I guess. So we already got a mismatch here, and like I said, you just gotta kind of you will play long enough to know who your mismatches are. But there are like I like Gilmore naturally never gets a mismatch on him. Most of these guys are like I said, Big Z's actually pretty rare. I've yet to see Big Z. I usually get a lot of I get a lot of what's his name? Mutombos. Mutombo guards me very oftenly, and you cannot score on a Mutombo, so you always have to kind of do this switch method. There's certain guys like Big Z, I probably could score on him like 1 out of 3 times if I tried to post him up. So look how naturally like didn't even have to really work for it. If there's like I said, if we had a point guard and center doing this screen and roll, a lot of times they don't want to switch. So no, that's what I'm saying. This is why this is so important that you have three centers. Is the switches come natural, and these switches do not come natural if you're not using all centers. So keep that in mind. That is the whole reason we're using centers. The switch does not come natural unless you have the centers. If like I said, I'm gonna do a point guard one to demonstrate as well, but after this one, but I just want to kind of know everything that I can. Like I said, super easy. And I'm saying if you're just playing really tight defense here, we probably don't even need to. I was gonna say we could probably score without even posting up here, but we couldn't. There's time. Look how like easy that was, and I don't even know how that game wasn't that quick because I kept pausing it. But imagine if I didn't pause it, that game would have been over in like 6 minutes or so. So super easy method. And we're like, I don't know if the difficulty goes up as you play triple threat, but even if it does, I don't think you should have any problems at all. Because, like I said, the screen is going to come naturally. Even if the difficulty goes up, I mean, it's nothing they can really do. Except maybe they may be able to steal the ball more as you post up. But like I said, it's gonna probably require a higher level player. Like say you backing down like a diamond Allen Iverson. Like he may be able to strip you, but obviously he's still a mismatch even if he's diamond or not. But yeah, that's essentially what you do there with the big man lineup. It's like I probably may look easier than it is because I've done it like 100 times. So you might need some practice or so. But like I said, once the defender hits the screen, do a step back. That step back gets you separation and it forces the off ball defender to step up. So that's what really helps the switch a lot. So make sure you do that. You kind of do that step back. Make sure you really implement that in there. Now, did we finally get all our rebounds we needed? No. He just needs 5 more rebounds, and he needs 10 more rebounds. All right, that's fine. All right. So looks like I accidentally did some type of achievement. So here we're gonna do a point guard setup. So what you want to do here, you want to have a point guard for sure, and you want a shooter. Now, make sure you get a really low tier shooter, like even like a JJ Works. I'm trying to get someone that's more. Let's go with Duncan Robinson. Let's go with Duncan. So, like I said, Duncan will bring us low competition, and your point guard doesn't matter necessarily how good they are, but this third man, you still want your center. Make sure your third man is really low tier because he's gonna bring a bunch of mismatches, and make sure he's like a shooter because you don't need him for anything else per se. If you need him, he's just to catch and shoot, right? So, um, and like I said, Robin's not even gonna touch the ball this game. I'll tell you that now. But just in case he got open or something like that, uh, and you're like you say, you don't have a specific designator on offense, and you're good. So here we naturally got a mismatch for Gilmore. We kind of Kareem's a really mismatch there. But yeah, like I said, Duncan Robinson on when we get stops, we're gonna get natural mismatches from like on fast breaks, right? So we're gonna get a lot of natural fast breaks in here and there. The reason I don't like this point guard setup is because they can score a lot easier on my point. Well, just Archibald in general. But here we get easy blow bys with the point guard method. Baseline there, that was an easy layup. I didn't go for it because obviously I don't want to score with Nate. And then here, look how harder the switches. I did this to prove a point on the switches, but look how harder he didn't switch. And this game is almost to prove that, but to also show you what you can do if you want to do a point guard and center set. Oh, and the point guard has to be fast. No matter like who you really go with. Say you like look like I said. Here's the mismatches. The mismatches come a little bit almost more frequently though than the last line, the all center lineup. You can't like cause Archibald he gets down the court so fast that it's just the first defender near him has to pick him up. So he is almost guaranteed to get a mismatch on defensive fast breaks because Archibald gets down the court so fast, and that's kind of what we're looking at here. Let's look at that. If he misses, so look, Nate has an easy. He had easy layup there. Like I said, I'm not trying to score him. We have a mismatch here with Spencer, and like I said, this is another reason we have a low tier card. Like oh wow, Spencer just I released that terribly, but Spencer just locked me up. Surprisingly, we have a low tier card here. Do we got the mismatch again? Or no mismatch here. Um, like I said, to show you again, the switches just don't happen. They just don't happen as frequently. Luckily for me though, this game, Kareem's a mismatch in general. So, oh wow. I mean, he's like I'll make probably one every two attempts on him. So this method is a lot less reliable. And obviously two, one, like I said, I can just do this every time with. I lied. I lied with Nate. I had faith in Nate. But yeah, this one's just less like overall reliable, and I just wanted to show that. But it does have benefits. Like I said, if you are trying to evo a point guard, maybe, or if you just like have a really fast point guard like Derrick Rose, or like I said, Nate's a good one. If you have Gilmore, you probably have Nate. Nate can literally just run past every point guard like 8 out of 10 times Nate will blow by. That one time Jerry West kind of got me there, but usually it's a blow by almost every time. So, and like I said, Robinson brings the mismatches. So Spencer Dinwiddie's supposed to be a mismatch, but it looks like I said, you get stops. And mismatches just kind of happen more naturally on transitions. Is what I'm trying to point out here with the point guard setup. So the point guard setup, you're gonna get more natural transition mismatches for sure. Um, and then obviously your point guard himself should be able to score a lot on those. If you don't, like I said, if you don't get that, if you don't get a stop, score with your point guard, and if you do get a stop, score with your center because if you probably got a mismatch on your center now. If not, just score with your point guard. This method really is all about scoring with your point guard and just kind of knowing what to do if you can't score with your point guard. Yeah, I don't know how Dinwiddie got to stop on me that first time. Maybe it's because I was so far. I did the drop step so far out from under. I did it so far away from the hoop that that's probably what happened. Yep. I kind of gave him that shot. I'm surprised he actually didn't make it. But like I said, a natural mismatch. I mean, like, I'm not making this stuff up. Like, look at it. It's just a natural mismatch every time on those stops. You get a stop, you probably have a natural mismatch. No need to even pass it to your point guard at that point because it's probably. And like I said, and that mismatch happens once again. Let me elaborate. Is because Nate is so fast. Nate runs down the court. So Nate runs down the court. Nate's the first person. Sorry, my control died, by the way. Nate's the first person Kareem has to pick up. Kareem has to pick up in this situation. The center has to pick up the point guard. So here, like I said, they scored, so it's all good. We can just blow by here. We could have went up there with Nate and got an easy points. But like I said, we're trying to score points with Gilmore, so um, which I probably should just score with Nate just to kind of demonstrate how you can get points. Like I said there. So here's the mismatch, just naturally. Look, like I said, look at how Nate got to that corner. Kareem has to get on Nate now. Kareem has to do that. So this switch happens if, like I said, if you can get stops. But the thing is, like I said earlier, this is a lot harder to get stops. Like I said, Jerry West isn't that offensively great. They have Dinwiddie, which is why we want a low tier, our third card to be low tier, like Duncan, because he brings in weak mismatches on not only defense but offense as well. So they're just not really as reliable on offense. Our only concern here is just Jerry West, and sometimes if Gilmore's matchups never really matter because centers really aren't that super great on triple threat. But I meant to go for a pump fake, but it's all right. Kareem, he should be out. And this is kind of what happens if you try to go straight up on your matchups. A lot of times is you get stopped, and that's why you don't expect this drop step to just work. Don't expect the drop step to work on everybody. It only works on point guard. It only works on smaller defenders. So keep that in mind. It does not work every single time on non mismatches. So there, let me just kind of give you guys an example. Easy blow by here with Nate. Easy points. You can and that's really that's almost what you want to go for on this method. Is you really don't want to go for the center mismatches unless you get stops. But if you're having trouble stopping them, just go in with your point guard every time. It's gonna work about every time. The bad part to this method is if you can't, like I said, they score. So now we need to score with our point guard. Easy lane there. If you can't score with your point guard and you don't get a stop and you can't score with your center, you're almost stuck a lot of times. So that's the one. This has a weakness. The other one didn't have any weaknesses. This one has a weakness where if you can't stop your team, which we've been able to do, we've done well on defense. They aren't too great on offense. Besides Jerry West is their only offensive threat. Um, if you can't get stops here, and here we weren't lucky enough to get a mismatch on the stop, but I think we can get a no. So maybe we can get a blow by on Kareem here. This method is chock full of weaknesses. Is why I don't do it honestly. But like I said, Nate, that's what you want to do pretty much every time with your point guard. Just take them inside. Point guards are just a big mismatch on each other. This year, it's like no point guard really can guard another point guard. It's if I'm being real. Also, should I? I don't want to make this video insanely long, but there is a consensus for shooters. If you really feel like you're a godly shooter, there is a team for you. Honestly, I don't do this method a lot because it requires shooting, and um, a lot of times defenders, depending on the defender you get, I mean, you could really struggle with this method. But I mean, I guess we got a little bit of time. I don't want to make this video insanely long, but let's do it. Let's do a shooting lineup here. Even someone like World Be Free will work pretty nicely. He'll bring in some lower mismatches, and someone like Eric Gordon will also bring us mismatches. Actually, I don't like he's gonna bring us some tough matchups. Let's someone more like Byron Scott. All right, so pretty low tier team, all point guards here, and we would just essentially run and gun shoot. So we would just kind of just shoot the ball or pass it to the open shooter. And like I said, these guys have insane badges, insane 3 point stats. And you just hit them in the corners, or you come up the court with World Be Free, and then you do a snatch back, and you pull up from there. You can green it pretty much all the time. So it's a lot of this works if you get a lot of stops and you get a lot of transition threes, you will run up the score really fast on this method. But it all depends on your opposing team. If they're really good on defense, you're screwed. If they're really good at scoring, you're kind of screwed too because you get less transition shots. But I've been able to do this before, and I was able to go like 15-0 within like the first 3-4 minutes of the game. So it can go really, really nicely if you are uh, if you, so let's just do it. Let's just shoot. Let's shoot one. I didn't know because it's not a guarantee method. But if you just like if you're just a shooter man, a shooter at heart, and you like using like guys like if you maybe you got like a pink diamond Curry or something like that. I doubt if you got pink diamond Curry that you need advice on scoring. But here we get a bunch of mismatches here. I mean, not mismatches. Like I said, we get a bunch of smaller guards. You're kind of screwed too. Well, you're not screwed, but if you get matched up with a center, they may get every offensive rebound, which can suck. But they will be a big mismatch on whoever has to guard them. So here we just automatically got a mismatch there. Like I said, after after the update, you can shoot pretty consistently now. So this works. Like I said, we don't have any insane defense. Like even they can shoot too. So that's the kind of bad part is they can shoot too. Wow, he had to foul me there. That's good defense. He had to foul me there. Well, nothing you could do too. You may not need all shooters. You could probably have a center here and there, in there. But you just wanna any opening you get, just pull it. Pull any opening you get, right? Cause I know a lot of people that like to shoot, and I love snatch back here, wide open. We off time to release, but it doesn't matter. You can pretty much make anything wide open now on triple threat. Uh, so oh, like I said, if we get a lot of stops here, come on, who's that? Byron. Three. Oh, that should have been in there. I messed up the release. If I didn't mess up the release, that would have been in there. You have to be kind of really consistent at shooting too. See, look. Rebounds. Okay, that's rebounds. The challenge here. We have no reliable rebounders. He left Byron wide open. Well, not really. Like I said, that's where I was talking about. If that was a Kawhi Leonard per se, I looked like I was open, right? But someone like Kawhi will shut that down really fast. Other defenders will be if you look open, you're actually open. He probably okay. No, he missed it. So I'm looking. I could have just probably kept going all the way in with Gordon, open man in the corner. We're getting stops here, so that's what's kind of fueling our offense is getting these stops. I'm trying not to really foul, but yeah, let me not foul anymore just because I don't want to make this video insanely long. But I'm trying to get steals is what I'm trying to do. It's not really working. I see Gordon just kind of cutting in there. No point in always shooting a three ball, but yeah. The bad thing is you get teams built just like yours, so their team can all shoot too. So a lot of times it's like it's really just a lot of times you really have to work for your shot. Well, here we got just kind of an open one. Come on, Gordon. Wide open. Yep. Gordon doesn't miss. If it says wide open and you hit that yellow square, Gordon does not miss. So I don't hesitate to shoot with him at all. So we're at the PP here, the promised land. Snatch back. World be free. For some reason, man, his snatchbacks go in quite frequently. Like I said, I've experimented with this team before, but not this exact team, but just with like a shooting team. I've used Gordon before. World be free. I figured Byron Scott would be a solid. I said it to the wrong man. Is that game? I say it's no way that doesn't go in when he's hot. But like I said, shooting's essentially super like easy now this year, and this method really isn't for the common player because a lot of people aren't too super good at releasing jump shots. So if you're not good at making jump shots, don't do that method at all. But if you're a good shooter and you got some shooters players, that's a solid method as well. Like I said, so I showed you guys three methods there. The straight up all center team, the traditional point guard center combo, and like I said, make sure that third player is not really relevant. Make sure he's like a even if you could make get like use like JJ Redick or somebody like that. Use somebody that's gonna bring you some big mismatches, and then that all shooting team where you just want all shooters. You could go a little bit bigger too. Say you got like maybe PG. And he'll be a little bit more consistent at getting rebounds. So I don't mind that either. If you want to go a little bit bigger on your third, but just know you want like the whole purpose of that shooting team is to be run and gun. You want quick ball movement, quick players, people getting to their spots. It's just a lot you want out of that team. So just keep that in mind. But yeah. Anyways, guys, hope that helped you guys out. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, comment. Real diversity, man. We're out. Peace.